Hello and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's episode we're looking at McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman Azrael Silver Armour Edition. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we've got another DC Multiverse figure from McFarlane Toys. This one is Azrael, who was a character who briefly took on the Batman mantle after the events of the epic Nightfall storyline, which was told in the early 1990s. And this was kind of like the Batman version of the death of Superman, except for this is the story that introduced Bane and had him break Batman's back. And Jean-Paul Valley, who was the vigilante who went by the name of Azrael, was being trained up by Bruce Wayne to eventually become his successor, much to the annoyance of Dick Grayson, who was Nightwing, because he wanted to become the mantle of the Bat. And it then followed, obviously, Bruce's recuperation from his broken back as a result of his encounter with Bane, and Jean-Paul Valley's descent into becoming a bit of a bloodthirsty vigilante and not upholding the ways of the Batman. So I picked up this figure just because it was so bloody cool. It's not exactly the armour that he wore or the costume that he wore when he was Batman back in the Nightfall storyline. That is a more stylistic kind of like very 90s style armour, which McFarlane have done a figure of, but I'm not a fan of that. But I saw this figure. I've seen it online a couple of times, and then I saw it in my local B&M for $12.99, and I thought, that's an absolute bloody steal. And it's such a cool looking figure, and I thought, yeah, that's just going to look really good in the collection. So I picked it up. Usual, obviously, packaging. Now this says it's a McFarlane Gold label, because I think this silver version is actually a limited edition. The other standard figure is more like in black and gold, but this apparently is kind of like a bit of a limited edition. So this is from a storyline which was called Curse of the White Knight, and obviously it does state there that it's a silver edition. And because this is quite an old figure, it does obviously have the old style of the back. You've got a photograph there of the actual figure itself, and then the other figures in the wave, which some of these figures have actually turned up in B&M stores when I've seen them. Usual stuff on the side, and obviously the information on the bottom there should you need it. But let's open the figure and have a close look. Before we get into the figure properly, of usual, you have the inside packaging, which usually comes with obviously the old DC comic covers. We've got the DC stand there, and we've also got the collectible trading card, which obviously is the same image that's on the back of the packaging, and a little bit of a bio there. So Jean-Paul Valley, war veteran, Knight of the Order of Saint Dumas, and now the Joker's key recruit in the crusade against Batman. Azrael is the Dark Knight's most powerful new threat, and the one living link in a devastating secret about the Wayne's family legacy in Gotham City. In an effort to overthrow Batman, Azrael dons an armoured batsuit of his own and threatens to take control of the city. So obviously that's a description there of Curse of the White Knight storyline, which I wasn't aware of. Like I said, I know this character from the Nightfall storyline that was from the 1990s, when DC was intent on rebranding and revigorating its comics line and doing lots of things. And obviously, due to the success of the death of Superman, they decided to do something similar with Batman, but not quite kill him off, but just incapacitate him and introduce a new Batman. So it does come with one accessory, which is this sword here, which does look very, very cool. And obviously, because the religious overtones of the character and the order he belongs to, you've got a little kind of like Jesus moulding on there, which is interesting. Front and back, So nice moulding design. Just needs, it's bent a bit in the packaging, so perhaps a little bit of hot water applied to that will hopefully straighten that up, which will do that later. So here he is out of the packaging, Azrael, and wow, what an amazing design. This is a great figure. Bit top heavy, did have some trouble getting him to stand initially, because he's got so much weight on those shoulders, and he obviously quite a bulky top section of the body. And obviously he's been missing out on leg day, obviously, compared to his top half. He's been skipping it, and as you can see, just a slight wobble there. Now, obviously, because this is quite an older figure, I think this was originally released way back in, let's have a look, 2021. So that's when this figure was released. So we are looking like this is a 2-year-old wave. Obviously, no cloth capes. If you've checked out my Michael Keaton Batman figure from the Flash movie, you know, McFarlane have started to use cloth capes on their latest wave of figures, which includes 2 Batmen from the movie, Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. Not got the hold of the Ben Affleck Batman figure yet, but I am on the lookout for him. So, but that is a great cloak. It's very flexible, so you can probably use it in some kind of like action pose. It's not going to be restrictive if you're going to have him posed or play with him in a certain way, like action wise. But yeah, and I actually thought when I was pulling him out of the packaging, because McFarlane do this thing of tucking the plastic cape behind the actual plastic packaging, and when I was pulling them out, I actually thought I'd ripped it from there, if you can see, and I thought, oh crikey, no, I've broken the figure already. But that's actually part of the design of the cape, so that was a bit of a relief there. But yeah, nice styling in the cape, and obviously covering the shoulders. Nice little bit design on there. I like the nice silver detail. However, if there is a little bit of a nitpick, I will say that there are certain points here that obviously don't follow with the silver look, and they look a little bit plasticky. So obviously you've got the ball joints here where the hands are, which obviously could have been painted, but they're just done in a grey plastic. And the legs don't seem to be as silver as the top half, and seem to be made out of kind of like a different kind of like almost translucent silver kind of plastic. And then again, similar with the ball joints on the hands, you've got the ball joints on the feet, which just standard grey plastic, and it looks like same with the pins as well that are in the leg joints. So if there is a minor fault of the sculpting, well, not really the sculpting, but obviously how the figure looks, I'm sure you could probably like touch that up with a bit of silver paint if it was that much of a bugbear. But just how cool does this figure look? He looks absolutely awesome. And I've just actually noticed, moving the arms around a bit, his arms are a bit wobbly as well. That's quite strange for a McFarlane figure to be very, very loose out of the box. Usually they're quite stiff with the joints. Certainly the leg, because he was posed in a certain way in the packaging, and then obviously as I took him out, I had to try and get the legs back into where they, like a point where they could actually stand. So the legs were actually very, very stiff, and obviously he was twisted at a certain angle as well because of how he was posed in the packaging. So the legs were very, very stiff, but it looks like there you go, the arms are quite loose. But still, how awesome does this figure look? He's going to look amazing on the shelf, but he is very, very precarious. I think we've got Black Adam situation again. As you probably know if you checked out my previous videos, and the previous short that I had an awful trouble with trying to get that Black Adam movie figure to stand. He was an absolute pain in the proverbial. But he seems to be all right there. Let's stick the sword in his hand. and then we'll stick him on the little revolving display, and we'll have a closer look. And a quick comparison there of just how he compares to your size of your standard McFarlane figures. Take away the ears on the Michael Keaton Batman figure, and yeah, he is a lot slightly taller than your standard DC Multiverse figure. And here he is on the revolving little platform, so you can really look at the detail of that sculpting and just how good this figure is. If you check out your local B&Ms, $12.99 for this is an absolute steal. I love the translucent silver on the cloak, and the absolute sculpting and detail of this armor is just brilliant. Like I said, I'm not au fait with this actual story. I am familiar with the character, but yeah, it's an absolute great figure and a worthy addition to the DC Multiverse range. So if you like this video, then please do leave us a like. It really does help out the channel. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified whenever we upload a brand new video. There may be another video this week, and probably drop in the next couple of days. Sorry about the background wavering at the back. I think that's a cat moving. I have ordered a Legacy lightsaber from the Disney store because of Star Wars Day discounts last week. They tempted me, and yes, I took the plunge. So look out for that, another lightsaber review due very, very shortly. But in the meantime, please take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon on Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. See you later, guys. Rotating display, and that gives you an opportunity to really see the figure from all angles. Like I said, I really like the way that cape has been done in that kind of like translucent silver plastic, and my fingers just switched off for some reason, so we'll send him around the other way. Yeah, the sword's still bent. I'm gonna dip that in. So I'm going to start this again because the thing's not working. Oh, don't tell me it needs batteries.